What's going on, my exotic family? It's your boy Dre. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm coming at you with 5 cons to keeping ball pythons. Stay tuned. Alright everybody, so welcome back to the video. Before we actually jump into the cons of owning ball pythons, I gotta give a huge shout out to Precious Robbins over at Precious Pythons. I'm actually wearing her shirt today. This is a collaboration video with Precious Robbins. So she is doing the pros of keeping ball pythons because she has a way bigger collection, and I'm doing the cons. So I'll make sure that I put all of her information down in the description below. She has a YouTube, Instagram and a YouTube, and she has a very nice collection of ball pythons that she's keeping. So guys, please make sure you check her out as well. All right everybody, so the first con we're gonna jump into, actually before I even do that, I got my ball python here with me. This is M'Baku. He is my Mystic B ball python. I don't show him off a whole lot. Maybe at the end of this video you'll understand why. I mean, it's nothing bad about him. I love my snake. As you guys all know, I'm not the hugest ball python fan in the world, which is only why I have only one. But anyways, we're gonna jump right into the first con. The first con for me, it doesn't apply to everybody, and it's gonna be that these guys can be pricey. Obviously, if you're looking into getting a normal, this will not be an issue, but a lot of people nowadays that are into ball pythons are into or eventually getting into breeding, so they're gonna want those high-end morphs. So I mean, I've seen ball pythons all the way up to like $9,000, and obviously not everybody has that money to spend. Everybody's financial situation is a lot different. So with that tip, live within your means, but nonetheless, these guys can be pricey. So that's definitely something to look out for. Depending on what morph you're looking into, it can definitely get up there. So outside of that, speaking of morphs, a lot of you guys know that these guys actually can, depending on the genetics, come with some neurological defects. Not all ball pythons, but once you get into the crazy morphs like M'Baku here, he has spider in him, so he anything with spider, usually, not always, I've seen some where it doesn't have any effect, but it can have what's called a wobble, and the head can go all crazy. M'Baku, don't really have an issue with him. He eats well. I don't really notice a wobble or any neurological where he's twisted and corkscrewing like crazy, but that does happen in certain genetics and morphs. So the one thing I can say for that is before you get specific morphs, make sure you do your research and know which ones have those effects and which ones don't, because it can definitely be an issue to deal with. And it's kind of tough on the snake. So con number 3, these guys are known for going on feeding strikes. Mr. M'Baku here he's been on a feeding strike for a while. Just recently he started eating again. He's taken 3 meals for me consistently now, but before that he was on like a 3-month feeding strike. So it's nothing to necessarily worry about, unless your snake is losing weight, then I wouldn't worry about it. However, it's just one of those things where it's kind of annoying. I have 13 snakes, so it's kind of like 12 snakes eat and then you have 1 snake that doesn't eat, so it's just like it's nerve-wracking. But that doesn't make them horrible snakes. It's just one thing that you keep in mind. It's, I guess, an obstacle when you deal with these guys, and these guys aren't their only snakes that do it. However, ball pythons are literally known for going on feeding strike. Alrighty, so let's say you want a snake and you got this nice enclosure and you can't wait to put the snake in it and see it crawling around crazy and seeing it real active and climbing. This is not the snake that's gonna do that. Like I said in one of my recent videos, there's an exception to every rule. These guys are active at night, at least he is, but for the most part they get their name ball python because all they're gonna pretty much do is find that cave or hole, go in it, and they're gonna ball up for the most part, which is also something they'll do when they're frightened. But 9 times out of 10 when I come in my reptile room, I'll lift up his hide and he's under there hidden. He rarely comes out. Like I said, he'll come out at night, or if he's hungry, but that's on a rare occasion. If he's hungry, he'll come out, but at night I rarely see him out. So if you're looking for a very active climbing snake, not saying that these guys won't climb, that is a misconception. A lot of people think these guys won't climb. I've seen personally, if you give majority of snakes that option to climb, they will. But these guys are not going to be your most active snakes. They're very inactive. They'll come out and eat, and they'll go back and they stay under the warm hide, and that's pretty much it. On that rare occasion, you will see them come out, but general rule is they're not going to come out super often. They're not very active snakes. And lastly is going to be size. These guys are by no means going to be a tiny snake, especially when dealing with females. Females can get pretty nice size. So these guys are going to have a pretty nice size enclosure. A lot of people like to keep these guys in a 4x2x2 minimum, and that is by no means a small enclosure. So if you don't have the room for that, that is going to definitely be something you have to reconsider. If you're breeding, more than likely you're probably going to keep these guys in a rack, so I guess that's not really going to bother you that much. But if you have a huge rack and you need more space, most people keep these in adults. Well, adult males probably not, but like I said, females, I know a lot of people keep them in 41 quart. However, that's going to depend on you, what your preference is. I'm not going to get into the whole debate in which you shouldn't. That's not what that video is for. But space is definitely needed for these guys. These guys are not a garter snake where you can keep them in a pretty small enclosure. So all in all, with all of these cons, just make sure you do your research and make sure that this is the snake for you. These cons are not to scare you away. They're just reminders to make sure that you can deal with these things when you get the snake. A lot of people impulse buy and they don't necessarily think about what can happen or what would happen with a specific species of snake before they get it. So I wanted to make this video so you guys know where I stand. These facts are things that I've witnessed and I've experienced myself. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget, check out Precious Python. She is doing the pros on these guys. So check her out and hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. And as always, stay exotic.